Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to put your phone down, even when you know you should? It's like we're strapped into a roller coaster ride, one that's exhilarating, but also disorienting. This is the social media conundrum we're all grappling with. In the age of digital connectivity, social media platforms have become our virtual living rooms, our town squares, our office water coolers. They're where we connect with friends, share our thoughts, and even keep up with the news. But these platforms aren't just a tool for communication. They're designed to be addictive. Every like, share, or comment sends a rush of dopamine to our brains, much like a gambler feels when they pull the lever on a slot machine. It's a reward system that keeps us coming back for more, constantly seeking validation and connection. And it's not just about the dopamine. These platforms are designed to keep us engaged, to keep us scrolling. They use complex algorithms to feed us content that we'll like, that we'll engage with. It's a never-ending stream of information that keeps us hooked, keeps us coming back for more. And the more we use these platforms, the more they learn about us. They know what we like, what we don't like, what makes us tick. They use this information to further tailor our feeds, to show us more of what we want to see. It's a self-perpetuating cycle, one that keeps us hooked and keeps us coming back for more. But there's a cost to all this connectedness. Our screen time is skyrocketing, and with it, so are feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and depression. We're more connected than ever, but many of us feel more isolated than ever. It's a paradox, one that we're only beginning to understand. So how did we get here? Let's dive into the history of social media. To understand our obsession, we need to journey back to the birth of social media. The late 90s saw the emergence of the first recognizable social media site, 6 Degrees. Named after the 6 degrees of separation concept, this site allowed users to create profiles, friend others, and post bulletins. It was a modest beginning, a small step in the digital realm, but it set the stage for what was to come. As we entered the new millennium, the internet began to evolve at a rapid pace, and with it, social media took a more significant shape. Blogging platforms like LiveJournal and Blogger started to gain traction. These platforms allowed individuals to share their thoughts, ideas, and experiences with a wider audience, effectively becoming the early influencers of the digital world. But it was in the mid-2000s that social media truly hit its stride. Facebook, a platform initially designed for college students, burst onto the scene. It offered an interactive space for people to connect, share, and communicate on a scale never seen before. And it was just the beginning. Closely following Facebook's footsteps was Twitter, a platform that revolutionized real-time sharing. It gave birth to the phenomenon of trending topics, making the world feel smaller and much more connected. Not long after, Instagram came into play, transforming the way we share and consume visual content. It turned everyday users into photographers, food critics, fashion experts, and travel bloggers. These platforms, among others, reshaped the way we interact, both online and offline. They gave us a window into the lives of others, and in return, a stage to showcase our own. They transformed ordinary individuals into influencers and brands into relatable personas. They blurred the lines between reality and the digital world, intertwining them so closely that one could hardly exist without the other. And just like that, social media became a staple of our everyday lives. With the advent of smartphones, social media was now at our fingertips. Quite literally. It was no longer a case of logging onto a computer and waiting for the dial-up to connect. Now, the world of social media was just a click away, anytime, anywhere. The rise of smartphones in the late 2000s gave social media platforms a new lease of life. The accessibility and convenience of mobile devices made social media not just a part of our lives, but a constant companion. We began to carry our friends, family, and even casual acquaintances in our pockets, always ready to connect, share, and engage. The platforms themselves evolved, becoming more intuitive, more engaging, and more addictive. They introduced features designed to keep us hooked. Notifications, for instance, became a source of instant gratification, a red bubble popping up on our screen, promising a new like, a new comment, a new follower. It was an instant dopamine rush, a reward for our social interactions. Social media platforms also introduced the concept of likes and shares. These seemingly innocuous features turned our online interactions into a game, a competition for popularity and approval. Every like was a validation, every share, a badge of honor. It was a virtual popularity contest, and we were all unwitting players. The platforms also found ways to make our usage habitual. They introduced features like Memories and On This Day, nudging us to engage with our past posts, to relive our online lives, and to keep the cycle of interaction going. The lines between our online and offline lives began to blur, as we started living in a constant state of real-time updates and digital interactions. And then there were the algorithms. These invisible puppet masters learned our likes, our dislikes, our patterns, and served us more of what we wanted to see. We found ourselves in a loop, scrolling endlessly, consuming content tailored to our tastes and feeding our addiction. The result? An irresistible urge to check our phones every few minutes. As we embraced this new digital era, we began to pay a price, an unforeseen tariff that subtly began to influence our lives. This isn't about money, no. This is about something far more valuable: our time, our peace, and our privacy. Just as social media has connected us to the farthest corners of the world, it has also managed to disconnect us from our immediate surroundings. We are in an age where we are more likely to know about what's happening halfway across the globe than what's happening in our own neighborhoods. The irony isn't lost, is it? We are more connected, yet in many ways, more isolated than ever before. The constant barrage of information, the never-ending scroll, it's all a bit too much, don't you think? It's a continuous stream of updates, photos, tweets, and posts. Our brains were not designed to process this volume of data, and it's taking a toll. Productivity has taken a back seat, as we find ourselves mindlessly scrolling through feeds, losing precious hours that could have been spent on more fulfilling activities. Then, there's the impact on mental health. Studies have shown a correlation between excessive social media use and increased levels of anxiety, depression, and loneliness. The constant comparison with others, the desire for validation through likes and comments, it's an unhealthy cycle that's hard to break. And let's not forget about privacy. In this digital age, our personal information is currency. Every like, share, and search is tracked, analyzed, and monetized. We've essentially traded our privacy for the convenience of connectivity. In essence, our constant need to stay connected has created a paradox of sorts. We're more informed, yet more confused. More connected, yet more isolated. More productive, yet more distracted. We were hooked, but at what cost? Now that we understand our addiction, can we break free? As we navigate this digital age, it's essential to ask ourselves this question. The good news is, there are several ways we can regain control over our social media habits and find a healthier balance. One of the most effective strategies is embracing a digital detox. This doesn't mean you have to give up your devices entirely. Rather, it's about setting aside specific times when you choose to disconnect. This could be an hour a day a week, or even a week a year. The goal is to make space for other activities that enrich our lives, reading a book, going for a walk, or simply enjoying a quiet moment of reflection. Another crucial step is setting clear boundaries. This could mean turning off notifications for certain apps, setting a limit on how much time you spend on social media each day, or even designating certain social media-free areas in your home. These boundaries can help us regain control over our digital lives and ensure that our devices serve us, rather than the other way around. And let's not forget the importance of real-life interaction. As human beings, we're wired for connection, and while social media can supplement our relationships, it should never replace them. Making time for face-to-face conversations, shared experiences, and physical touch can help us maintain a healthier perspective on our virtual relationships. Interestingly, even social media platforms are beginning to recognize these challenges. Many have introduced features that allow users to track their screen time and set limits on their usage. While these initiatives are a step in the right direction, it's ultimately up to us to take responsibility for our digital habits. Remember, it's not about completely eliminating social media, but about finding a healthy balance. With conscious effort, setting boundaries, and prioritizing real-life interactions, we can navigate this digital age with a greater sense of control and well-being.